My mother is a therapist. My father was a therapist before I was born. They were in therapy together when I was a kid, and I was in therapy when I was a teenager. But I never learned to ask for help. When I was 20, I started having panic attacks. I had them every night, as soon as the sun went down. It felt like I was running inside of myself, and I couldn't stop. Like my body was crushing me into a ball around that place in my chest where I feel love and guilt. I felt like my scalp was on fire, and my hands weighed 1,000,000 tons. It felt like nothing I had ever felt before, except when I was 6 years old and I lost my mommy inside of our own house, and I wandered from room to room screaming for her, thinking she had disappeared. My scalp was on fire. And when I was 10 years old, I started having nightmares because my hands felt like they weighed 1,000,000 tons. Even when I was awake, I couldn't get rid of the feeling no matter how much I shook them. These feelings have been with me forever, but I never learned to ask for help. My scalp didn't burn, and my hands didn't feel heavy if I exhausted myself in the gym every day. And I couldn't feel scared if I was drunk and high all the time. So I became a bartender, a job that encouraged me to do both to my heart's content as long as my personal behavior didn't negatively impact my professional performance. I exercised obsessively and stayed far away from sobriety. I had had my heart broken by then, twice. And the idea of doing it again terrified me. So I took my emotional desolation out on a series of women in a long string of casual relationships and empty encounters. I hurt at least 2 people very badly during that time, and that's a reality that I can't change. I'm ashamed for how I treated those women, and I'm sorry. I was scared all the time. I hurt all the time. But I didn't ask for help, and I refused to go to therapy. Until one night, I was rigid, making claw motions. I was so mad, scared, ashamed, confused, and an asshole that my partner told me she wouldn't get in the car with me unless I let her drive. For the second time in 6 months. And she said that if I didn't do something to change, she was going to leave me. And that was the first time that I had ever really thought about the effect that I was having on other people. The first time that I felt like a person in a world full of people, a connected piece of an interconnected system. The first time. Because when you always feel like the world is ending, you mostly just think about yourself. There's a form of narcissism that goes hand in hand with having a panic disorder, and believe me, I got it. What is panic, really? A fight or flight reaction? Fight. There's a lion. Punch a lion. Put your fucking arm down its throat and let it choke to death on your ruined limb. Win. Fight. Kill. Kill the lion. Or kill yourself getting away. Turn. Run. Run as hard as you can. Run like run means that you accept death if you don't. You're dead if they catch you. When you feel like that, you can run yourself to death and still break even. That's panic. And panic is also emptiness. Because the cortisol that lets me kill or be killed also suppresses my empathy. Because sure, you want to be able to kill the lion without worrying about its little lion feelings. But you can't care about yourself either. Not when it's kill or be killed. Not when you might have to run yourself to death. Certainly not when you might have to go fight a lion. Kill or be killed means that you can get your chest carved open by a great big cat and still hit that fucker back one good. Panic is caring about yourself as little as you care about anybody else for as long as it takes to survive by any means necessary. My therapist once asked me, "What do you do with that feeling when it happens while you're shopping for groceries?" I still don't have a good answer for him. But the other day, I stopped myself. I was carrying a box of tools inside the fence out back of our new apartment. And I had it with one arm on my hip. And I was reaching out to open the door, and suddenly it occurred to me, in that funny, nonverbal way, that I'm very strong. But I don't always have to be. I called out, and in a minute, my partner came and held the door for me while I carried the tools inside. And I could have done it myself. But it would have been harder, and I might have hurt myself. Or maybe not. Maybe I would have been fine. Maybe the metaphor functions best if you don't examine it too closely. I'm not in therapy now, but I was for a long time, and I fully expect to be in therapy again. I learned a lot about how to navigate my panic, where it comes from, what sort of lies I've learned to tell myself in order to survive. And then, when I was ready, I started taking a pill. And the pills aren't for everybody. But this one is for me. But there are no solutions. There are only paths. Some paths take you towards pain, and other paths take you away from pain. Some paths take you away from people, and others take you towards them. Contrary to my early beliefs, the paths that take you towards people generally take you away from pain. I never learned to ask for help, and I never learned how to fully engage with other people. But I'm learning.